origin as the center, and if I take this ai comma 0 is the center, this is bi, so this length is bi root 2, so area of the square is 2bi square. How to find bi value? They gave b1 is 32 and bi plus 1 they gave it as bi by 2. So if you want b2, it will be 32 by 2, which is 16. b3 will be 16 by 2, 8. b4 will be 2, so on. It's a geometric progression. In general, if you want bn, what is the nth term of this GP? That will be the answer. A into r power n minus 1. So 32 into common ratio is 1 by 2 power n minus 1. So that will be 2 will go 64 by 2 power n. That is your Bn. Okay, now that is your BI, you can say. What is it they want? A3. A3 is that area. So what we got here is AI is 2 times BI whole square. So if at all you want A3, 2 into B3 whole square. And what is B3? 8. 2 into 8 whole square. 64 into 2 is 128. Okay. So among option A and B, A is right. Regarding C and D, both they want sum of all the areas, which is a GP itself. Okay, so if somebody wants A1 plus A2 plus A3 so on up to infinity, what is A1? Is 2 into B1 whole square, 2 into B2 whole square, 2 into B3 whole square, so on. That itself is another GP with what is the common ratio? Maybe I can substitute this there, or if we take B1, B2, B3, common ratio is 1 by 2. If we take B1 square, B2 square, common ratio is 1 by 4. So, anyway. So understand for this common ratio is 1 by 4 because this is a GP with common ratio 1 by 2. The squares is common ratio 1 by 4. If I use A by 1 minus R formula, 2 into B1 square by 1 minus 1 by 4. And what is B1 is 32. So 2 into 32 whole square by 3 by 4. So again, this is 2 power 10. This goes up 2 power 12, 2 power 13 by 3. Or they left it like that. They left it as 8 by 3 into 32. So you don't have to simplify. Just take it up. 8 by 3 into 32. This is not much of integration. Basically, getting the graph of this versus this, finding the area of that square, and then B1, B2, B3 is just GP, recognizing that right here it is there. The next term is half of the previous term, means it is a GP with common ratio 1 by 2, right? And this. Anybody any doubt? Okay. Okay, whoever had asked doubt, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Normally earlier I was using black, now I'm writing with blue. So black is more clear. Next time I can use black. Compared to regular class, is the board clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Clear. Then it's okay. We'll go ahead. Any other doubt? Anybody has areas advanced material? No. Okay, then I'll go to fundamental theorem, and if you have doubts, you can ask.
Sir,
Yes, please.
numerical second one.
Numerical second one bisects. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, numerical second question I'm going to discuss now. X equal to 0, y. First of all, I have to draw the parabola y equal to 1 plus 4x minus x square. If I take minus common, it is x square minus 4x minus 1. Does this has roots? Yes, it has roots. And the maximum will happen at 2. But the roots are, one is negative, one is positive. So At 2, what is the value? This is 8, this is 4, 4 and 5. At 2, its value is 5. At 0, it is 1. This is 2 comma 5. This is 0 comma 1. I'm sure at 4 also it will be 1. Okay, a parabola like this. I have not found the roots of this exactly, not necessary. I know because of the minus, it is a downward parabola. And because of this making perfect square, I can understand the maximum value will happen at 2. And at 0, it is 1. And by symmetry at 4, it is 1. This is a parabola. Now they want x equal to 0, y equal to 0. Like this line and this line. And also x equal to 3 by 2, 1.5. So somewhere here only will be equal. Okay. So we don't need the full graph. Between 0 to 3 by 2, it is an increasing function. You can find derivative and see that. When you find derivative, it is 4 minus 2x. You can say up to 2, it is positive. So whether a parabola or not, I don't care. At 0, it is 1. At 3 by 2, it has some value and some increasing function. Not going to make any big difference. Y equal to mx should bisect this. Okay. So I should draw some line like this through origin so that this area of the triangle is off of this. I don't think this line will intersect this parabola somewhere. Then I don't think off will come. Because even if I take up to here, I think I can say this area is more than that. If I take much more than that slope, it can't be. So I think most likely y equal to mx will be a line like this, where this region became two equal parts. That's what they want. Okay. Then that should be very easy. Let us find this area. Anyway, if I take, let us find this total area. That is integral 0 to 3 by 2. The curve is this 1 plus 4x minus x square dx. Anyway, I got used to speaking here. Am I audible to all of you? Okay. So managing both offline and online simultaneously. Anyway, those who came to offline, I should appreciate that their courage to come, and I should appreciate their parents to force them to come. One of the two reasons. Okay. Those who are at online also, it's very good because I am safe. The less people come here, I am safe. Okay, in that way. I don't know. I think within 3-4 weeks, I think all colleges will start full-fledged classes. I guess it appears like that. Okay. They're going to even run the hostel in a few days. Okay. Earlier, I thought they will run the hostel only after 2-3 months, but they seem like people are asking. Anyway, one integral is x, 4x integral is 2x square minus x square integral is x cubed by 3 with 0 to 3 by 2. So when I put 0, everything is 0. When I put 3 by 2, it is 3 by 2, 9 by 4, so 9 by 2. Here it is 27 by 8, so it is 9 by 8. This is 12 by 2, 6. 6 minus 9 by 8. 8, 6 are 48, 13, 9 by 8. Okay, if I am wrong somewhere in calculation, please tell me. So now if I draw y equal to mx, that is this point will be x coordinate will be 3 by 2, y coordinate will be 3m by 2. X coordinate 3 by 2, y coordinate is mx. So what is the area of this triangle? Is half into base is 3 by 2 and height is 3m by 2. That should be equal to half of this. Half of 39 by 8. Area of the triangle is half of the area total. Half we can cancel, and here we got 9m by 4 is 39 by 8 after cancelling this. M will be 2 here, 39 by 18. I think this is our answer, but what is that they want further? The value of M is equal to itself, so they want in decimals. So 2.17. Okay, 18 2s are 36, 30 is left. When 18 1s are 12. 18 will be left means 12 will be left 120. 18 7s are, is it close to 120? 126. I think it is actually 2.166 or something. You can count that. may not be 6 something. If you round it off, let me just finish it. 18, 39, 18 2s are 36, 3 will come, point, it will become 30 now, 18 1s are 12, will get 18, and it becomes 180. No, 18 here, and it will get 120. 18 6 are how much? 108. Oh, another 12, it goes on. So it is a repeated one. So 166, which is when you round it off, 2.17 on the higher side, according to the numerical rules how to round it off. So Swati, where did you go wrong in this question? Swati only asked?
Yes, sir. I thought the line will intersect the parabola.
Yeah. I was thinking that if line passes through even this point, that itself is more than the required double, because if I draw a rectangle, then the diagonal will make it two equal areas. So when I draw like this area is equal to this total. So if I remove this piece, obviously that is more. Okay. So it doesn't intersect. Okay. Anything else in areas? Anybody has doubt? No. Okay. So fundamental theorem. Advanced material, page number 119. Okay. So you can just put it. So we discussed about Leibniz theorem or its proof. Okay, in mains material, in definite integrals only it is there. Here we give it a separate chapter. Basically, let us have integral f of t dt. That will be a function of t. But if I have same integral f of t dt with the limit some g of x here, or let us take first a here and some g of x here. This is a function of t after integrating, but when I put upper limit, lower limit, it will be a function of x. If I call that as some, let us say capital F of x, for example. So this and this are different. I can call some other name. Let us say it is L of x. What is the big deal? What is L dash x? Is substitute this in the place of t, f of g of x into derivative of this, which is g dash x. Okay. How did we prove this? If somebody remembers, from this we can also conclude capital F dash t is small f of t. That is very easy to say. Now, I don't need to prove it. Earlier we proved it, but just I'll give a hint. Small f of t integral is capital F of t. Limits are a into a to g of x. So when you simplify, it is f of g of x minus f of t. When I differentiate this now, this is a constant, derivative will be 0. What about derivative of this? Capital F derivative is small f. So the derivative of this is small f of g of x into inner part derivative will be g dash x. That's how this will come. Okay. So just take small f integral as capital F, find the answer and differentiate it. You'll find this. That's it. If somebody wants, you can just write this one, and then from this you can directly write this. This is not equal. This is L of x. Okay, that is L dash x. So this is a formula and this is explanation. One may say, what if both are also in terms of x? I don't think there any difference is there. Okay, so let me write some other, let's say m of x or something is integral some h of x, some g of x, f of t dt. Then m dash x, put upper limit f of g of x into g dash x minus f of h of x into h dash x. So So basically integration and differentiation are opposite. So when you differentiate, you forget about integration simple, the place of the upper limit into derivative upper limit minus in the place of the lower limit into derivative of lower limit. So these are the basically, so this first point is obvious. This is second, third. Mostly these we'll be using for these questions. This is called Leibniz theorem, it is also called fundamental theorem of integral calculus. Okay, so we'll do question. We're done mains, so already we're done questions. So we'll do now questions from advanced material. All right. Very first question. I'm doing single answer questions in that odd numbers. Very first question. They gave f of x is equal to integral 2 to x dt by root 1 plus t power 4. They said g is inverse of f and they want g dash 0. So not only about fundamental theorem, you should also know something that you learnt in first year. Okay. Sometimes I'm sure you have seen questions like, let us say, f of x is equal to e power 2x plus 3x plus 9. Okay. And they will not ask something about, if they ask f dash 5, anybody can find it, right? They're going to ask you f inverse 9, not f inverse dash. Find inverse function, find derivative of that at 9. Okay, let us say. But how are we going to find derivative of inverse function? We cannot find even inverse function. It is not that for every function we can find inverse function explicitly. Okay, that's if I tell f of x is 2x plus 3, you simply take y equal to and you'll get x equal to y minus 3 by 2, and that is your f inverse y. You got the inverse function. But if I say f of x is equal to 2 power x plus 3 power x plus 5 power x and ask find inverse function, you take equal to y, no problem. After that, how are you going to get x in terms of y? It is not possible. So every time we may not be able to find inverse function definition explicitly. If you are not able to find inverse function, how are you going to find derivative of that? We cannot find in general, but at a specific number it can be found. How is that? If f of a is equal to b, we know f inverse b is equal to a. Okay. Then f inverse derivative at b is nothing but 1 by f dash a. The derivative of inverse function at b is reciprocal of derivative of original function at a. How is that? Let us say g equal to f inverse. I can write g of f of x, okay, is equal to x. I can also write f of g of x is also x. Either way it's okay. Let us say I can also write f of g of x is also x. If I differentiate this, what I will get? G dash of f of x into f dash x is equal to 1. Bring this down, you got it. f g dash of f of x equal to 1 by f dash x. Now you see I said this point that f of a equal to b implies f inverse b is equal to a. That also means g of b equal to a because g is f inverse. So if you put x equal to a in this question, what will come? F of a will come, which is b. So g dash b is 1 by f dash a. What is that? The derivative of inverse function at b is same as the reciprocal of original function derivative at a. If you do this also same thing will come. Differentiate it, what will come? F dash of g of x into inner part is g dash x is equal to 1. So if you want g dash x, it is 1 by f dash of g of x. So here also if you want to put x equal to b, put g dash b is 1 by f dash of g of b. What is g of b? A only. So you're going to get a. Okay. But this is not any great formula. You know dy by dx is nothing but 1 or dx by dy is nothing but 1 by dy by dx. All of you know this, right? This is dy by dx at a comma b. This also dy by dx at a comma b. Okay, the point a comma b. But generally when you write dy by dx, we have only mentioned that it is at x equal to a. It is also at y equal to b, but we generally write at x equal to a. Similarly, dx by dy will be usual in terms of b, and we have to mention it is at b. That is same as this. Dx by dy at b is the reciprocal of dy by dx at a. But this is x value and this is y value. That's all. We also seen this from the graph. If I take y equal to x line, and this is a graph of f of x, how are you going to find inverse function graph? Anybody? I'll give you the graph of original function. How will you find graph of inverse function? Image of this with respect to y equal to x. So it will be like this. If there is a point here a comma b, and there will be a point here b comma a, which are mirror image of each other, the slope of the tangent here and the slope of the tangent here, they make equal angles with 45 degrees line. If I call this as theta, this slope is tan 45 plus theta and this slope is tan 45 minus theta, vice versa. But you know tan 45 plus theta is reciprocal of tan 45 minus theta, because one is 1 minus tan theta by 1 plus tan theta and the other one is 1 plus tan theta by 1 minus tan theta. So what is this slope? F dash x at a. What is this slope? This is inverse function f inverse or g dash x at b. So g dash x at b is reciprocal of f dash x at a. So I'm mentioning same point in 3-4 different ways. One is this, one is this, one is dy by dx is reciprocal of dx by dy, one is from the graph. Okay, this all we have done in first year. In differentiation, there are a lot of questions. They are also given in past year means quite a few times. They will give original function, they will not give inverse function, but they will ask you to find derivative inverse function at a particular number. One may ask here, they asked at 9, I know it is 1 by f dash of what? What should I write here? For that, you have to identify when f of x answer will be 9. Can you guess at what x value f of x answer will be 9?
0.
Okay, no, I should not have not given 9. Let me make it 10. Okay,
0.
because if you put 0, what will happen?
0.
Okay, e power 0 is 1 and this is 0, it will be 10. So f of 0 is 10. So f inverse 10 is 0 or g of 10 is 0. If you want g dash 10, it is nothing but 1 by f dash 0. Okay, you find the derivative of this function, substitute 0 in that. The reciprocal of that will be f inverse dash 10. Okay, one may ask instead of 10, if they give 11, can we do it? We cannot do it. Why? You equate it to 11. Can you guess when you find x value? You cannot find x value. So they will try to give a number where when you equate this to that, you will be able to guess x value. Guess only. Okay, we will not be able to find. If it is a polynomial or something, we can find. This kind of equations only it is. Okay. Now, in the same way here, this is a function. If somebody asks me f of 5, I can find it, but kind of complicated. I have to find integral of this and all that. F of 9, I can find, but complicated. But one of the easiest one, f of what number will be very easy? Anybody can tell? F of 5, I have to do a lot of work. F of 0, I have to do a lot of work. F of minus 10, I have to do a lot of work. But f of one number is very easy. F of 0 also integral 2 to 0, I have to do limits.
2.
F of 2 is very easy. If I put 2, both limits are same, right? Answer will be 0. So one very simple thing is f of 2 is 0. Okay. Then I can write f inverse 0 equal to 2. Okay. Now let us see what they asked. They asked g dash 0. That is because g of 0 is 2. Because g is f inverse. According to our definition, g dash, okay, I can derive once again if somebody wants. Take g of f of x equal to x, differentiate g dash of f of x into inner part f dash x equal to 1. Let us put x equal to 0 in this. We'll get g dash f of 0. No, I want to put, yeah, into f dash 0 equal to 1. F of 0 is 2. No, f of 2 is 0. So let me put x equal to 2 then. 2 here, 2 here. Now this is becomes 0. I'll get g dash 0 equal to 1 by f dash. So the derivative of inverse function at 0 is same as reciprocal of inverse function at original function at 2. But is finding f dash x is easy. That is our fundamental theorem we learned. F dash x. What is f dash x? Let me write this properly. 1 by root 1 plus t power 4 dt. In the place of t, you are going to put x. That's the derivative. So you get 1 by root 1 plus x power 4 into derivative of that x 1. Down anyway, when you put the number into derivative of 2 will be 0, nothing to put it. Okay. So this is the main part of the fundamental theorem or Leibniz theorem. How to differentiate a definite integral. Simply remove t and write upper limit into derivative upper limit. Minus, substitute the lower limit into derivative of lower limit, but when it is constant, its derivative will be 0. So constant, you don't have to worry. Okay, so now I got f dash x. So what is f dash 2 will be 1 by root 17. If you substitute that, it will go up and it will become root 17. Okay. So the fundamental theorem we used only for finding f dash x. But before that, you have to recognize what we learnt in the first year. That the derivative of inverse function at 0 is same as reciprocal of original function at 2. All right. Okay. Either online or offline. Anybody has any doubts, please ask. Okay, so we have 9 students today in the physical classes. Was it completed? You can read the third question and try. Vamsi, how are you coming from your house to here? Auto. Earlier also you are coming by auto? Okay. If I had to teach with the mask on, I think I should have some kind of thing like this which can go inside the mask. Huh? AC? Shield also I can have. Achha, okay. That's also good. But still, I think if I can have speaker, but still it may be quite uncomfortable. It's okay. If you get corona, this COVID or whatever it is once, okay, after that, is that our body develops immunity that any time future you will not get any such thing is there? No such thing?
No, sir.
Okay. But at least our body will be a little more ready to face it.
No, sir. We may get it.
We may get, but I'm saying even next time when you get, our body is already somewhat equipped to deal with it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes I feel instead of avoiding COVID, let us get COVID. What is there? Once we get and our body develops immunity, and maybe once
Sir,
again
it
we'll
has
get.
long-term complications, sir.
Oh, acha. Okay. Then no, I think we have to be careful. But I think as the thing goes, it is difficult to avoid. I think over a span of time, everybody will get once and okay, maybe we don't. Okay, anyway, I think children generally they said they're more strong and they don't get much affected, or even if they get, because some doctors told me if the children are they're not giving any medicines. They're saying only if you get a fever, take a paracetamol, otherwise don't have to use any medicine for children. And within 5-6 days, they're getting rectified. Some doctors told me this. I don't know, some children might have went into complications, I'm not aware. Okay, before I explain third question, let me tell one important point, very simple point. If you understand it is very simple, otherwise it's complicated. I have some function, okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Let us, I'll call it as t. T here and f of t here, some kind of graph like this, okay. Now I want to define g of x as 0 to x f of t dt. My definition of g of x is integration of f from 0 to x. Now I want to understand about g, whether it is increasing or decreasing. Okay. So 0 is here. If I want g of 1, I'll take up to 1 integration. If I want g of 2, let us say this is 5 and this is 9, something like this. I'll take up to here, I'll take up area up to here, from here to here, from here to here, or from here to here, so on. Okay. Now see, let us say this is 3 also. When my x is less than 3, but it is increasing, that means my x values are 0 0.2, 0 0.5, 1, 1.2, 2, 2.5. So when I take my x values increasing like this, will g of x increases or decreases? When x is increasing from 0 to 2.5, g of x will increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase. Because one time I'm finding area up to here only. Later on I'm finding from 0 to 0, 1. Later on I'm finding from here to here. Is my area increasing or not? Okay. Now tell me, my x is more than 3. It is 3.2, 3.7, 4, 4.8. When my x is increasing from 3.2 to 4.8, is g of x increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Yeah. It is not that f of x is coming down. That's why my g is decreasing. No, my g is still increasing. Why? One time I'm finding up to here area. Later on I'm finding from here to here. Did my area increase or not? Okay. Even though it is coming down, still compared to this is more. If I take up to here, it is much more. Only thing is the rate at which it increases, that may change. For example, from here to with a slight increase, my area is increasing this much. But from here to here, slight increase, my area is increasing, but little less. At what rate area is increasing, that may change. But if x increases, my g is still increasing. Okay. It doesn't matter whether f is increasing or decreasing. That is not important point. What is important point, I'll tell you. But let us see now. When x is changing from 5, let's say this is 7. X is 5.2, 5.3, 5.8. And x is increasing from 5.2 to 5.8. Tell me whether g of x is increasing or decreasing.
Decreasing, sir.
Let us say you want when x is 5.2, what is the answer? You have to take 0 to 5.2 integration. Okay. Now, Let us say this total area is 100 units and this small area is 10 units. When I take integration from here to here, what will be my answer? Will it be 110 or will it be 90? This total area is 100 units. This small area is 10 units and this is 5.2. I'm asking 0 to 5.2 g of, f of t dt. Answer will be 110 or 90.
110.
It will be 90 because integration doesn't give area. If it is above x-axis, integration gives area. If it is below x-axis, integration gives negative of that area. Area is 10, but my integration will give me minus 10. So from here to here, I'll get 100. From here to here, I'll get minus 10. It will be 90, right? So when I take up to here, let's say this is another 20 units. When I take from here to here, what is my integration answer? Not area answer. I'm asking integration answer. 100 minus 30, it will be 70. Are you listening this boy here? You're listening, right? So when my x value is increasing 5.2, later on up to here, later on up to here, my total integration value, is it increasing or decreasing? I'm talking about g of x. When x is changing, x is increasing from 5.2 to 5.8, g of x value will increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Yes, it will decrease. Why? See, initially my area is 0, later on 10, 20, okay, like that it became 100. But when up to here, what I said answer, not 110. What is the answer? 90. Later on 70. Later on decrease further because we are adding some negative number. This area may be positive, but integration is negative. As you increase this value, you are adding more and more negative regions. So your area is not area, integral is decreasing. Okay. So the g of x is increasing or decreasing does not depend on f is going up or going down. It only depends on whether f is positive or negative. If f is positive, as you increase x, your g will be increasing. And if f is negative, as you increase x, your g will be coming down, which you can see very easily. According to fundamental theorem, what is g dash x? What is the derivative of this? Tell me.
F of x into derivative.
F of x into derivative of x is 1 only, so nothing to write. So g dash x is f of x. When is g of x increasing and g dash x is positive? So f of x should be positive. So whenever f of x is positive, g dash x is positive, g of x is increasing. Whenever f of x is negative, g dash x is negative, means g is decreasing, which we can see in the graph. I would have told you directly, but I'm also telling from the graph. So don't worry about whether f is going up or going down. That is not at all important. If f is positive, integral 0 to x f of t dt is increasing. And when f is negative, integral 0 to x f of t dt is decreasing. Is it all right? Okay, so coming to the third one, they said small f of x is 1 minus e power x if x less than 1, x minus e if 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3, less than 3, and 3 minus e by x minus 2 if x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay. I am going to draw the graph even though it is not required of f of x or f of t when called t versus f of t. Up to 1, I should draw 1 minus e power x. So e power x is like this, minus e power x is like this, and add 1. So it is some decreasing function. In fact, at 0, it is 0. At 1, it is negative. At 1, its value is 1 minus e. This point is 1 comma 1 minus e. This is 0 comma 0. Okay. X minus e is a straight line, and this is open point. At 1, what is this? 1 minus e. Oh, both are starting the same place, going up with a line slope 1. And at 3, it is 3 minus e, which is a small positive number. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It is like this. That is open again. This is closed now because of this one. Okay. course, this also, they made it continuous. They don't have to, but at 3, these two are equal, at 1, these two are equal. So it's a continuous function. Okay. What about this? We all know 1 by x graph. It will be like this. 1 by x minus 2 means shift towards right. But after 2, it is decreased. There is positive but decreasing. This is also after 2 only. Some decreasing function, and at infinity, it will be 0. So starts here and comes like this. Let me know what is this point. That is where, that is E. This is E, this is 1, and this is 3. Okay, this is f of t. Now I have to find integral of this from 0 to something. So when I take capital F of x, which is 0 to x f of t dt, I said capital F dash x is small f of x. So whether f is increasing or decreasing, everything depends on f of x sign. So f of x is increasing, decreasing, not important to me. What is important, if you look at the figure, up to e it is negative, and after e it is positive, right? All this is below and all this is above. Okay, so now coming to capital F, up to e it is negative, means capital F is decreasing up to e and increasing after that. Okay, so f of x decreases in 0 to e, increases in e to infinity. Okay, so if a function decreases and then increases, at that point what it will have? Up to e it decreased, and after e it increased. At e, what you say that?
Local minimum.
Minimum, right?
Local maximum.
Local minimum. It decreased and then increased, so local minimum. So from this we can say at x equal to e, capital F attains local minimum. It is also absolute minimum here because not coming below that any. I drawn the graph only after 0, but I should draw before 0 also. Let me do that. 1 minus e power x is, I said, it is it tries to become 1 at minus infinity. So it will be like this. Okay. So I should also include that 0 and then positive here. Okay. Anyway, my x value, let us, I'll take minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. The area wise, it is decreasing. With the minus, it should be increasing. Yeah. Okay, I should have written one more thing here. It is decreasing here, increasing here. Even with the minus infinity to 0 also, it is increasing. I should write one more that also. Okay. Because before 0 it is positive, you can see that. So increases in minus infinity to 0. So three things. F of x increases in minus infinity to 0, 0 to e decreases, e to infinity increases. So at x equal to e, it attains local minimum, and at 0 it is local maximum because it increased and then decreased. Then at 0 it is local maximum. At x equal to 0, capital F attains local maximum. You should not worry about this local minimum and this local maximum. This is small f's local minimum and small f's local maximum. Okay. You are talking about capital F's local minimum and local maximum. Okay. Here small f is positive, so capital F is increasing. Here small f is negative, so capital F is decreasing. Here small f is positive, so capital F is increasing. Because capital F's derivative is made small f. Then if still you are not clear, or are you clear now?
Explain, sir.
Again, okay. Small f of x is this. The graph of that is this. Do you have any problem with the graph, Dhanush? Dhanush, do you have any problem with the graph?
Explain the
Graph also I should explain. Okay. Between 1 to 3 it is a straight line. At 1 it is 1 minus e. and at 3 it is 3 minus a small positive number. So this is a graph, and at e it is 0, a line with slope 1. After 3 it is this one, is just a number, some constant positive by x minus 2. Okay, we know 1 by x like this, 1 by x minus 2 is shifted towards right by 2 units, but a decreasing function like this, and at infinity it is 0. And at 3 both have same value. This also 3 minus e, this also 3 minus e by 3 minus 2, which is 1 only. So at 3 it starts here and reaches 0. Coming to before 1, this graph, this is a graph of e power x. Minus e power x is this mirror image with respect to y-axis. Move upward by 1 unit. So this will go here, it will be like this. Okay, so I have to take only up to 1, so which is this piece. And at infinity it is trying to reach 1. That is this graph. Is the graph okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now capital F of x is 0 to x f of t dt. Fundamental theorem, when you differentiate it, capital F dash x is simply f of x. So whether capital F is increasing or not, how will you know? You have to know its derivative, whether it is positive or negative. But derivative is nothing but small f of x. So whenever small f of x is positive, f dash x is positive, f is increasing. Whenever it is negative, f dash is negative, it is decreasing. So if you can see in the graph, before 0 it is all positive. So between minus infinity to 0, this is positive, this is increasing. This is positive, so f is increasing, capital F. Between 0 to e is all negative. So when small f is negative, f dash is also negative, so f is decreasing. After e, everything is positive. So small f is positive, f dash is positive, so f is increasing. So the function has 3 parts. It increased, I'm talking about capital F, not this graph. Capital F graph, I'm not drawing the graph. It increased, we don't even know up to what, decreased, and then increased. If it increased and then decreased, this is local maximum. If it decreased and increased, it is local minimum. That's why at 0 it is local minimum, because up to 0 increasing, after 0 decreasing, so at 0 local maximum. Up to e decreasing and after e increasing, so it is local minimum. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Wherever derivative sign changes from plus to minus, it is local maximum, because increased and then decreased. Wherever derivative sign changes from minus to plus, decreased and increased, that is local minimum. Is it all right, everybody? Okay. So now what are the options? F has local maximum at x equal to 0 and local minimum at e. Direct option A should be right. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I think it took in the beginning some 10 minutes to set up some Wi-Fi problem and all that. Maybe you can carry on, or we'll stop. What is there? So okay, we'll continue tomorrow. We'll stop. Thank you very much.